It's been one hell of a week. Last time I talked about my switch from the high definition render pipeline to the universal render pipeline, finishing the final levels and how I implemented some fun effects. Well, a lot has changed since then. The switch to the URP ended up being an even bigger mistake than my want for emissive lighting. I ended up hating the look, and I discovered there was a limit on how many point lights can affect any individual surface. Plus it was even more difficult to get the dark background I wanted. So, even though I spent 2 days working on this transition, I decided to roll it back. I'm hoping this won't affect frame rates too much, but we'll have to wait and see. I know there's lots of tricks and tips for performance optimizations. With the rollback, I thought I wouldn't be able to use the VFX pack I got, but it turns out the ones I was planning on using still work. Some of them look a little bit weird because of how I'm lighting the game, but I think the glow effect looks cool. I also decided to add some more effects to the level start and end triggers to make them a little bit more noticeable. The rollback made the sci-fi assets I got look a little better as well. They used an emissive texture to give a cool glow effect, but not for any actual lighting. And with the post-processing I have, it really looks good. I decided to only use a few of these assets for each level to give a unified theme as well, so I changed the first level and then modeled the rest of the levels out. This is where the majority of my time was spent this week. I edited the levels to work with these assets using a unified scale, except for the first level because that was already done. I decided to separate each area by color, so 1 jump levels used the teal, 2 jump levels used the orange, 4 jump levels used the other blue, and the 8 jump levels used the red. The asset pack had some lamp models as well, so I used those when lighting the levels. I had to edit the light's properties to make it work within my scenes, like making them dimmer and affecting the color, but I really like how they all turned out. Using that color scheme also made making the level select area easier. I finished the level early in the week, but I'm not as happy with it as I'd like to be. It's not as big as I'd wanted, and the levels aren't really hidden like I'd wanted, but I had to do something to get this game out the door. Having the 4 different colors made modeling the area easier, because I could separate everything by color, showing where you can and can't go. I also had to handle all of the other things that really make it a game, such as the splash screen, a tutorial, and credits. I wasn't sure exactly what the end state for the game would be, so I just put in a pop-up once you finish the last level that says, "Thanks for playing," crediting me with the creation and my friend Nick as the co-creator of the idea. The tutorial is also just a pop-up explaining the controls and generally how to play. There's no story for the game, so I couldn't come up with a good way to tutorialize within the context of the game. That's something I want to work on in my next project. The last thing I did, which really should not be the last thing, was sound. I hadn't done anything with sound up until now, and while it turned out well, it's definitely something I'd like to spend more time on with the next project. I have a nice menu loop, and a gameplay music loop which sounds pretty good, and some other sound effects as well for jumping, dying, and jumping on enemies. The hardest one to do was for the teleporting, because I needed something with the chart-up effect, but I couldn't be too harsh. I ended up merging 2 different effects into one, and I think it sounds pretty good. By the time this video is out, the game will be released as well. For my first project and my first delve into devlogs, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but it still has a lot of room for improvement. I'm still getting the hang of developing on my own, and it'll take a few projects to hopefully make something I can truly be proud of. Right now, I just need to get the hang of starting and more importantly, finishing games. Next week, I'll hopefully have something to show you for my next game, so if you want to get updates on that, please like and subscribe. But until then, take care, stay safe, and have fun.